let your belly hang. Like that was the best tip I ever learned from my teacher. Like let your belly be soft and actually let your breath be in your belly. Don't try to hold anything in.
A big warm welcome to everyone who is trickling in now. I can see the hearts coming up on screen. I am so happy to see you all here and to share this very special event with you all. For those who don't know me, my name is Jaimie. I am the Community Communications Manager here at Hey Lady. So I'm usually not on screen very often. I'm usually in the background doing things like the Loop newsletter and some of the emails that you see coming through your inbox. So as you know, ladies, this event is part of a special interview series we are hosting for International Women's Day this week. We've invited a few incredible guests into the community to share their expertise and to give you some really practical tools and techniques to add to your English confidence toolbox so that you can start using them in your English practice and your life more generally. And today I am super excited to be here to introduce you all to Brooklyn, who is an incredible yoga, meditation, and breathwork teacher here in Queensland. And she also runs amazing luxury retreats for women on the Sunshine Coast, which I am dying to get to sometime this year. And she has founded Yogable, which is the luxury wellness retreat company. And for those who aren't in Brisbane, she also has some amazing online courses, which I'm sure she will share a bit about at the end for anyone who is interested. So welcome to the community, Brooklyn. Welcome to Hey Lady. We are so happy to have you here with us today.
So excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So just to start, ladies, I am going to give a brief introduction as to where how I met Brooklyn and why she's here with us today. I met Brooklyn in 2022, I think, maybe 23. She was one of my very first yoga teachers. And before that, I hadn't actually dabbled much in yoga or meditation or breath work at all. And at that time of my life, I was very stressed, highly strung, very overwhelmed, lots of nervous energy, just racing from one thing to the next. And I'm sure some of the ladies in the chat box might resonate with that feeling of just kind of running without really resting much and coming back down. And I had lots of physical and mental, I guess, symptoms that were popping up all over the place. And I didn't know what they were or why they were happening. It just felt like too much at the time. But I later learned, or through, I guess, lessons and classes with Brooklyn and other yoga teachers, that these were all a result of a dysregulated nervous system, which I am not going to try to explain because I'm going to leave that for Brooklyn to explain because she is the expert. But my physical and mental state was in quite bad shape. And my doctor actually instructed me to stop all high intensity exercise for 6 months and dedicate those 6 months solely to yoga and breath work and meditation. And at first, I was not very happy with that recommendation, but it actually turned out to be the most life-changing, pivotal moment in my life. And I haven't turned back. I still use a lot of the techniques and I still do yoga every day. And a lot of the techniques I use when I'm stressed, when I can't sleep, when I feel nervous, and when I just feel a bit blur, like a bit down and out, and need to reconnect to my body and to my mind. So some of Brooklyn's quotes have actually stuck with me over the last few years. I actually have one on my wall, Brooklyn, which you might think is hilarious, but it is the where can you soften and where can you let go? It's always just stuck with me as a high high stress individual, it's like that reminder to just come back down and, yeah, have a think through your body and work out where you can stop and reset. So that brings me to share why Brooklyn is here today in this community. I want to give you all a small taste of Brooklyn's superpower, so that she can share these life-changing practices with you. So many of you feel nerves, a lot of fear when you go to speak English, or perhaps it actually holds you back from speaking English at all. Maybe you get sweaty palms, or you start shaking, or your heart starts racing, or you feel really sick. And whether it just makes you feel stuck and forget your words, or it actually stops you from taking chances and stepping out of your comfort zone at all, I think a lot of you might be able to relate to that feeling. So in today's event, Brooklyn is going to teach us 3 amazing, practical and powerful techniques that you can pick up and use before a job interview, before a conversation inside Hey Lady, before a big work meeting, but also just in your daily life, in your morning routine or your evening rituals. So it's going to be really practical, but we'll set the scene first. Brooklyn, let's dive in. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you for that beautiful introduction and for sharing your own journey with us. Um, I so loved having you in class, and I love that you have that saying on your wall, because it's something I tell myself, my daughter, constantly as well. Nothing I think is as urgent and as pressing as we make it out to be in our head, and there's always space to soften and always space to surrender and let go. Before we get into all that, my journey, I went to university for international relations in Canada. I'm originally from Canada, but I've lived in Australia for 9 years now, which is wild. And I did see someone in the chat box was from Canada. So hi. And near the end of my university degree, I started experiencing extreme anxiety. I'm talking panic attacks, even in my sleep. Just not even being able to feel like I can go out into my classes because I was just so fearful. I had all the physical symptoms, the sweaty palms, the heart racing, the shaking, all the not fun stuff, the stuff that feels nice. And really, it was just like I felt completely disconnected from myself, and that I had no control over my emotions or my body, which is a horrible feeling. I'd already been into yoga for the physical practice for my body, but it wasn't until I started experiencing this that I started deep diving into yoga for its mental and spiritual practice. And when I say yoga, meditation is actually a form of yoga, and meditation was actually the original form of yoga. So before yoga became poses or shapes or asanas, as we call them, it was a meditation practice and a breath practice, also known as pranayama. So that's kind of how I got into it. Long story short, it was a deep dive. It changed my life. I never looked back. I don't use my international relations degree, and here I am running my own yoga business in Australia. Okay, so the biggest thing that impacts those feelings, those physical symptoms, those feelings of fear, doubt, or any of the physical symptoms is our nervous system. And our nervous system is what controls our emotions continually. So it is in charge of what's happening, how we're feeling in our body. And we have 2 parts to our nervous system. We've got our parasympathetic nervous system, and we've got our sympathetic nervous system. So our sympathetic nervous system is what we call fight or flight. So you might have heard that. It can be impacted by high stress. So when you're feeling stress, you're in your sympathetic nervous system. When you're feeling anxious, fearful, all those things are your sympathetic nervous system. And what it is biologically, back in the day, when we were running away from predators or when we were in high stress situations, our sympathetic nervous system would kick in to fight or flight. It would say, run, you gotta go, let's move. And it triggers all these hormonal responses in the body, stress hormones, high cortisol, and that's what causes those physical symptoms to come out in the body. And that's what causes the anxiety and the worry and the fear to take over in the brain. Our other part of our nervous system is our parasympathetic nervous system, and what I like to call our rest and digest nervous system. So when we're feeling calm, relaxed, just steady, we are in our parasympathetic nervous system. Now, ideally, as humans, we should be in our parasympathetic nervous system 90% of the day, maybe 10% of the day, getting into that sympathetic nervous system. It shouldn't be lingering. What's happened in today's day and age, in today's world, is we've gone completely the opposite. Most people are living 100% full time in their sympathetic nervous system and not ever entering the parasympathetic nervous system. So you should be entering your parasympathetic nervous system when you sleep, but sometimes people aren't even reaching that. And then we wonder why we're feeling anxious and stressed and burnt out and all of the things. It's because our body is in constant fight or flight. And same thing while we wonder why our guts are off or, we're not feeling our best. We cannot absorb the food that we are eating, the nutrients from the beautiful food we're eating, unless we are in that rest and digest stage. That's why it's called rest and digest. So if you're someone who's anxious and you're trying to retain any kind of information or eat nutritious food, but your body's in fight or flight, you're not actually getting those nourishment. So there's so many things that we can do to help support the nervous system, which is amazing, and which is, I think, why I'm here. So it's not about never experiencing stress, because that's just not a possibility. It's about being able to experience the stress, but then being able to let it go and to come back into that parasympathetic system. The major way and the most impactful way that we can enter our parasympathetic nervous system is through our breath. And I have to be cautious in saying this, because when I say through our breath, a lot of us are chest breathing, and that's not proper breathing. So your parasympathetic nervous system is activated when you are deep belly breathing, when your diaphragm is pressing down in onto the parasympathetic nervous system, all those nerves there, and actually activating that vagus nerve that runs from our belly up to our head and tells our body that it's okay, we are safe, and we can calm down and slow down. So the breath is the most amazing tool that we can use for our nervous system, but there's some other cool things I can show you as well. So I think I did an overview of the nervous system. Does everyone understand its role that plays in our well-being and how it can impact our day-to-day life?
That was an amazing overview of the nervous system, and I love that explanation of the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. I love the rest and digest, like that's just constantly in my head now as well.
The sympathetic and sympathetic are a bit like tongue twisters to say. So if you can remember like fight or flight and rest and digest. And remember, it's not that we never enter fight or flight. That's impossible. It's that we want to be majority in rest and digest, because when you're in rest and digest, that's when your body heals. It heals mentally, it heals physically, it heals emotionally, it heals spiritually. You cannot heal, no part of you can heal while you're in fight or flight. And that's just the honest truth. Because fight or flight is an inflammatory response in our body. So when we talk about healing and nerves and your overall well-being, all those things can't function in inflammation. So I know here we're talking specifically about anxiety and stress and nerves, but I hope you understand that the nervous system actually plays a much greater role in the body besides just your mental well-being. It's your physical well-being as well. Okay, are we ready to get into some techniques that we can use? We're all good?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Okay, so the first one we're going to do is called box breath. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of this. So like I said before, we can trigger our parasympathetic nervous system, turn on that switch. It's literally like a light switch by coming into that deep belly breathing. Box breathing is one of the easiest and quickest ways, because the issue is when you go to tell someone, okay, sit down and do breathing, their mind starts racing, and actually they focus on everything but the breathing. So box breath is a beautiful technique because we create this pattern in our head, and actually sometimes I even use my finger so that we can focus solely on the breath. So it's quite literally creating a box with your breath. So we're inhaling through the nose for 4. We're holding the breath at the top, and when I say at the top, we're just holding it up here for 4. We exhale for 4, and then we hold at the bottom for 4. And when I say to take an inhale, I want you to notice if you're inhaling from your chest. So if everyone was to take an inhale right now, where are you inhaling from? Are you inhaling up in your chest, or can you feel your belly ballooning? Because if we're taking a proper breath, our belly should be ballooning. So let's just give this a practice first, actually, because this is more important before we start the breath. So I want you to place your hands on your belly. I'm sorry if you can't see me. I can't see any of you, by the way. So placing your hands on your belly, just close down your eyes for a second. Keep the lips closed but soft, unless you've got some serious sinus things going on right now. But let's try to inhale and exhale through the nose. I want you to take a nice deep inhale through the nose from the belly. So really ballooning the belly out. Can everyone feel that? It's almost like it doesn't even come up in the chest. So really, we want to be feeling that inhale from the depth of our belly, because that's what's going to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. All right, let's give that a go. So wherever you are in your space, just close down your eyes. If you prefer to lie down for this, please feel free, welcome to do that. You don't have to be seated. So just closing down your eyes. Try to get at any last minute wiggles or adjustments here. Just welcoming yourself into your body. Lips closed but soft. We're going to inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale quietly through the lips. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the bottom. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's our box, and we keep repeating. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a nice deep inhale breath here. Exhale, audible sigh out. And again, inhale, breath. Exhale, sighing out. You are safe. You are okay. And you are perfect and whole just as you are. And just slowly blinking open the eyes whenever you're ready. And before you move or adjust, I just want you to notice how you feel, how the breath feels, how the body feels. If you've created a sense of softness anywhere. So that is our box breathing technique, and it's one of the easiest and quickest ways to get into that parasympathetic nervous system. I do that before any big meeting I need to do. If I am feeling a bit nervous of something, I try to do it for at least 50 rounds, but you can set a timer for 5 minutes or however long. Oh, that's so good. I'm glad you're feeling calm and great. Beautiful. So does anyone have any questions about that technique before we move on? Or are we all pretty clear on that one? I try to do it for 50 rounds, but it's totally up to the individual person. Some people don't like keeping count that way. So they might just set a timer for 5 minutes. If this is something new for you, you might even just try to do it for 1 minute to see how that feels and gradually increase. But anything is going to be better than nothing. So if you've only got space in your car for 3 rounds, then do that because that's going to be better than nothing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I actually did this technique just before joining this meeting as well.
Oh, did you?
Like nervous energy, and yeah, it was so good. I often, when I come into this breathing technique, particularly if I'm coming from a really stressful day, or I've kind of been again that running, like in that running mode, I often feel after the first few breaths or first few rounds, I feel a bit like, I don't know, dizzy or like woozy or something. I think, is it just that switching modes happening, that it's just kind of shifting context, or do you know what that
So,
might be?
yeah. So the breath, I guess, long story short, is we hold our emotions are stored in our body. So our fears or our worries or anxieties are all stored in our bodies in muscles, in meridians. I don't know if you guys know the meridians. So those energy channels within our body. So if you're holding on to something, if you've had a really stressful day, that stress is sitting in your body. So what that breath is doing is it's actually moving that energy, which is why some people can feel like a moving sensation or you can feel hot, because that breath is actually clearing that energy out. So know that you are totally safe, that nothing is bad is going to happen to you. But if it's too much, then you can stop the holds. You can just go to inhale and exhale. There was a couple of questions here. Someone said, is it okay to have more time to exhale? Definitely. That's just the box breathing technique. So, it is, you're supposed to do in that technique the same counts for all the rounds. So the inhale, the hold, and the exhale. But I am such an advocate of tuning into what feels best in your own body. So if you're sitting there thinking, I want to do more seconds, I would like to do 5 or 6 seconds, please do that. Or if the exhale, you want to feel like you want to do that longer, do that as well. So really tuning into what your body is asking you. I think the major things to remember are that deep belly breathing. So making sure that inhale is coming from the belly and just keeping your focus on the counts of the breath. So you're actually able to switch the mind off from wherever it's wandering and focus solely on the breath. Does that make sense? Someone said, could we consider repeating it throughout the day? Yeah, do it as many times as you want to. The more, the merrier. Yeah, feels so great in the morning before the work starts. Yes, definitely. So
Yes,
I have
totally.
I have a morning breath and meditation practice that I do every morning. Non-negotiables for me, have been doing for the last 10 plus years. Um, and I always include some kind of breath, and the box breath is a pretty good one that I pick. It's a really easy one to teach to children. I taught this to my daughter's prep class every Friday for a whole year. And it's so great because it's the counting thing. They can create the shape with their finger as well as they're doing it. And it has the same benefit for children on calming nerves, calming those worries and anxiety.
Oh
And it
my
also
goodness. As a 5-year-old, my whole life would have been different. That would have been so
mental fatigue is definitely indication of a dysregulated nervous system. So any kind of breathing you're going to do is going to support that, and proper breathing. So I think maybe I need to clarify that, love. There's a difference between just breathing, and you can tell when you're in fight or flight. If your breathing is coming up from your chest, if you feel your shoulders going up and down, if you feel like your breath is here, if it feels really tense here, you are in fight or flight. That is your body's physical response to tell you you are in fight or flight. If you are easily breathing from the belly, from the diaphragm, without even having to think about it, you know that you are in your parasympathetic nervous system. So I hope that makes sense when I say that. Any kind of breath in the diaphragm is going to support that nervous system. And the more you can do, the better. And it's amazing if you actually watch babies and toddlers before they've been affected by the world, their bellies go in and out like this all day if you look at them, because they're always in a parasympathetic nervous system, and that's how naturally we should be breathing. But as adults, and as we've decided to stress and take on the worries of the world, we've lost the art of breathing, proper breathing. And so a lot of us are breathing in our chest. And imagine like you're creating all this heat and energy in your chest and around your heart space. Of course, you're going to feel anxious and sweaty and nervous and scared. There's nothing like long and deep and slow to slow everything down.
That is so true. I've never thought about that with kids or babies with that. You see their bellies rising all the time. I love that.
Yeah. Tip number 1, move your belly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's such an important thing for women because, we've been conditioned to suck in, pull in, and constrict our bellies, which even exaggerates the breath up in the chest. I'm going off on a tangent now. I'm so sorry. So let your belly hang. Like that was the best tip I ever learned from my teacher. Like let your belly be soft and actually let your breath be in your belly. Don't try to hold anything in. Okay, I'll stop on that.
All right. I think we are ready to move on to the next one whenever you are, Brooklyn.
Yeah, we're going to do some tapping. This can be really good for people whose minds are racing, for if you struggle to actually get into that breath. So if your mind is racing so intensely, I know it can be hard to like actually stop and get into that breath. So you can do this tapping first. And what it does, it just pulls you out of your mind and back into your physical body. So you can do it before you do your breath. You can do it just on its own. It's a beautiful practice. And again, all these techniques can be used on children as well. I'm not sure who have children, but they're all safe to use on your whole family. And I use them with my whole family.
Brooklyn, just before we jump into this one, can you please explain, Emma in the chat box. So Emma is our founder of Hey Lady, and she's just asking or saying tapping is new for me. And I think it probably is for a lot of women. Actually, I've only done it twice. So it is a bit less known than meditation and breath work, what it is and what it actually does, I guess.
So like I said before, we have meridians in our body that are in charge of our energy. So we have energy that flows throughout these meridians. And when we feel anxious and stressed, and when we have a dysregulated nervous system, it's because energy is stagnant in these channels in the body. So when we do tapping, it's quite literally tapping. There's points on your body, but also again, I'm a super advocate of tuning into your own body, and sometimes it may feel good to tap in areas that are technically not EFT, which is why I don't use that thing. So you're tapping certain acupressure points and certain meridians in the body to get that energy flowing. So I don't know if anyone's ever heard of acupressure or acupuncture, how they pinpoint needles into certain places of the body to get the energy flowing. This is like self being able to do that, and being able to do that in your own time, which is beautiful. So I'm going to show you the points that we will go through first before we actually get into it. So there's a point on the top of our head. So when I say tapping, I quite literally just take my fingers and tap like this. There's 2 points on our forehead, on the sides of the temple, above and below the lips, on the collarbone, on the sides of the ribs, and on our wrists. So those are our main tapping points. Also, one of my favorite ones to do, and we can all do this together. And this is especially if I'm feeling anxious and if it's feeling tight and heavy in my chest. I love to do this one. So clasping the fingers together and just take your thumbs together like this. And you're going to find your breastbone, settle your thumbs into your breastbone, and quite literally just tap the breastbone like this. So you can almost hear a hitting motion. So this is when I do if I'm feeling stuck or heavy in my chest, if I'm feeling anxious. So that's a great one to do. But let's go through a couple rounds of the tapping. And generally, when I'm tapping, I'm also saying an affirmation. So if I'm tapping before somewhere where I'm feeling nervous, this is what my tapping is going to look like. I am safe. I am okay. Nothing bad is going to happen. I am safe. I'm okay. Nothing bad is going to happen. And again, it's a reprogramming of your energy while you're doing the tapping. It's reprogramming the brain and the patterns in the brain to believe what you're saying. So shall we do that a couple times together? And just know that you can change the affirmations for whatever it is you want. Like sometimes in the morning, if I just want to have a really good day, I'm tapping, today is going to be a really amazing day. I can't wait for a miracle to happen today. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be just solely about calming the nerves, but it's all nervous system work. So I think I'll guide you through the tapping, but I think have your own affirmation in mind because we're all in different places. So if there's something that you want to tell yourself in this moment, like just have that thought in your mind while we're doing the tapping. Is everyone all right for us to do that?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's just take a big cleansing breath first. So just closing down the eyes, roll the shoulders down the spine. Nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sighing out. And begin with tapping on the head. Tapping on the forehead. Tapping to the temples. On top and below the lips. Collarbone. Sides of the ribs. Tapping the wrists together. Let's do 2 more rounds of that. Tapping the top of the head. Saying your affirmations to yourself. Tapping the forehead. The temples. Above and below the lips. Tapping your collarbone. Sides of the ribs. Tapping the wrist. Let's do it last time. Tapping the top of the head. Tapping the forehead. Sides of the temple. above and below the lips, tapping the collarbone, sides of the ribs, tapping the wrists. And then we'll tap the chest, so bring those hands together, tapping into the breastbone. Let's take a nice deep inhale here while you're doing the tapping. Exhale, audible sigh out. And again. Release the hands, just allow the breath to return to a natural rhythm. And open your eyes whenever you're ready. How did that feel for everyone? It's a really good way just to get out of the head and into the body.
Yeah, I love personally anything that's like, I find myself counting, even if I am like, even if there's an intent or an affirmation there, I find myself counting the taps, but I find that really helps me take it. That's constant. But it helps me take my mind off whatever else is happening. So, and that's the same with the box breathing as well. Like just that, like it just brings you to the breath.
Yeah.
Which,
Is it normal to get emotional when tapping and saying affirmations? Definitely. So anything to do with the nervous system can evoke emotions. Like I said, you could be storing emotions in your nervous system your whole life, like it's holding onto it. So when you start doing the work to move the nervous system again, move the energy, those emotions are going to come to the surface. And it's okay. We want them to come to the surface because it's a release. Does that make sense? For you asked that, is it Amalia?
yeah. Yeah, that's a great question, Amalia. That also happens a lot. I find personally, having suppressed a lot of emotion for so many years in yoga, a lot that comes up, particularly in certain poses or asanas. Yeah, so same kind of concept, Amalia, of the emotions just getting release. Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions about the tapping exercise that Brooklyn has just guided us through?
And again, make it your own. Really tune into your own body. Sometimes I'm like, I get really heavy in there and go across my chest like that. Yes. Lorena, can you change the points? Definitely. Yeah. Like I am moving where sometimes I'm like, oh, I just need it down my arm. Like just tune into what your body's asking you. If you have a lot of tension in the back of your jaw, yeah, like you might like to just tap along your jaw here. That might feel nice too, especially if that's where you're holding your anxiety and your stress. If you know you're like, you can do this along the jaw. A really great one as well is the ears. So if you just like tug on the ears, especially if you're feeling like you're holding tension in the jaw from stress, that actually releases that tension in the jaw, is to tug on the ears and just draw it down the jaw a bit.
Yeah, Lorena, I have also suffered with jaw tension for many years and have worn night guards and things like that at night for the same thing. And all of these exercises have really helped me. So hopefully you can start using some of them as well. Cool. Alrighty.
The last one we're going to do is my favorite one, and it's a body scan meditation.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is one that, if I'm being honest, is so much nicer to receive. So to just lie and to be able to hear me do it. But it's also something that you can do when you're feeling anxious or stressed and nervous to yourself, because you're just becoming aware of the different points of the body. And again, it helps bring you out of your mind and into your body. Are we all ready? So you're just going to have to get yourself into a quiet, comfortable position. I would encourage laying down for this one if you can, if that's available to you. Otherwise, you can stay seated. So closing down the eyes, let's take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sighing out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, letting go. And I just want you to begin to take that internal scan from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of your toes. I want you to begin to tune into how the body's feeling. So the general mood, any areas of tension or tightness. Can you feel the breath flowing easily? Or does it feel like it's getting stuck? There's no right or wrong here. It's just a witnessing and an awareness of the body. And if you can, just slowly begin to expand that breath from the belly. Belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. I'm just coming through a full body awareness scan now. So we start at the bottom of the body. Relaxing toes, relaxing feet, relaxing ankles and heels, relaxing your legs, tops of the knees, backs of the knees. Relax your glutes. Relax your lower back, middle back, upper back. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms, elbows. Relax your wrists. Relax top of your hands, palm of your hand. Relax all your fingers. Relax back of the head, top of the head. Relax forehead, eyebrows, eyelids. Relax cheeks, jaw, lips, and tongue. Whole body, relax. Whole body, relax. Whole body, relax. And just noticing the rise and fall of the belly, and stretch of the skin as you begin to wiggle toes and fingers, circling ankles and wrists. And just gently begin to reawaken yourself, blinking open the eyes. Take your time, there's no rush here. And just tuning into how it feels, just to take a moment to scan the body, to relax the body. Now that's a beautiful one you can do before bed if you find the mind races before bed. So just lying down, closing the eyes, going through each part of the body, telling it to relax. And that's it. How did that one feel for everyone?
Yeah, let us know in the comments, in the chat box, if you are, if any sensations or yeah, any feelings came up. I know that when you first did that with me in a yoga class, Brooklyn, I really struggled to like I was like, I can't relax my thighs or I can't relax my shoulders. I definitely can't relax my tongue. Um, because my brain was like fighting it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, as you say, a practice. But I think it is, yeah, a practice. It is, yeah, as Amalia is saying, she started overthinking about her body, and now I can do that meditation now and actually relax those things. But at the start, it was really hard for me. And I think
So
that's
if you
just,
are overthinking it or if you're unable to relax, I think that just goes to show you that you do have a dysregulated nervous system because we should
yeah,
be able to, just enjoy the process instead of overthinking things. And that just tells me that your mind probably isn't coming down into the parasympathetic state. Um, but it's something that you do daily. I have a daily meditation practice. I have a daily breathwork practice, just like you wouldn't go to the gym once and expect results.
yes, exactly. And I think, ladies, that's very similar to what we all know about learning English is it comes with practice. The first conversation is really hard and you get stuck and can't say much. But as you keep showing up to practice, it becomes easier and more natural. And the same is true for all of these practices.
Any other questions about the three techniques? Which one sat with you the best? Which one did you like the best? Is there going to be one that you find you're going to implement?
Yeah, what your key takeaways are. Um, but otherwise, Brooklyn, while those comments are coming through or questions in the chat box, I'd love you to share with us where we can find you online and what's kind of going on for you at the moment. I know I saw on Instagram yesterday you had a huge announcement about a new program that you're offering. So I'd love you to share a bit about that if you have a few minutes.
Yeah. So where to find me? My website is called Yogable Wellbeing. I might just type it in here.
Yeah, great.
So, because that's a bit of a mouthful. Yeah, so I have an 14-day online meditation and breathwork practice or program, sorry. It's 2 daily meditations. I guide you through everything. There's daily work pages and journals to go along with the program. Um, it's just the most beautiful offering I could have imagined. I've been working on it for a long time. It's been well requested. And I'm so excited that everyone can, do my meditations and my breath work in the comfort of their own home. I'm the same on Instagram. I'll put it down as well. It's me on Instagram. And you can send me a DM there if you want to have any conversations about what we did today, what I offer. If you're in Australia or if you're willing to fly to Australia, I host the most incredible 4-day women's wellness retreats pretty regularly. So just reach out at all, and I'm sure we can find something that works for you. I think the important thing to remember is none of us are broken. And I don't want you to leave this thinking, oh no, I have a dysregulated nervous system and I'm broken. I think maybe let's just feel empowered that we have all these amazing tools at our hand to be able to support us and support our well-being. You're
Yeah,
very welcome.
absolutely. So true. Brooklyn, I want to say a big, big thank you. You have been in it from the start. As soon as I messaged you, you were like, yes, I'm keen to join and help out. So thank you so much for coming in to our community, jumping into the chat box and meeting some of our members and just sharing all your amazing knowledge and expertise and techniques with us. Thank you so much. We've got lots of love coming
So
through.
welcome. So
Um,
happy to be here. And please, I'm always in my DMs. If you need to chat about anything, please reach out.
Thank you again, Brooklyn, for joining us. We are so grateful and hopefully,
Welcome. You're so welcome. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
bye. See you, everyone.